Peace, world. Salute. Assalamu alaikum. Back. Welcome back, everybody. To all the new subs, thank you. To everybody that's been tapping in as of lately, thanks for your time, effort, and energy. I truly, truly appreciate it again. Memberships are available. Memberships are available also. Further support the platform, Cash App, New Legend 77. Any dime, nickel, any dollar, appreciate it. All right? Listen up, guys. Today we're going to discuss how parents respected parents and parents respected children. Okay, first and foremost, parents respected other parents by allowing them to be a parent. Advice and suggestions is not an issue. Parents allow parents to be parents. Example, and I understand we're in a different time and things are different with the internet and exposure to it. I get that. However, when I was coming up, I did something I shouldn't have did. People address my mom and allow my mom and or my dad or my guardian or my family to deal with it and address it. And it was respected. And they gave it time for it to sink in or to work. Or they sat back and looked at the adjustment period. So for instance, if I was going to school and I had a bad attitude or I had a bad or foul mouth, they gave it time to see if, they sent home a pink slip to my parents or whatever and said, yo, your son was cursing, or your son was being rude, or your son was being loud, or your son was being disruptive. Now they gave it time to see if that talk or however I was disciplined or dealt with, they gave it time to see would it work. They didn't say, okay, 2 days went by, you don't listen. Damn, we sent him no home to his mom's. He still don't listen, or he's still being rude, or he's still being disrespectful, or he's still being loud, or he's still whatever with his classmates. They gave it time because they respected the parents, or they respected the adult figure, or they respected whoever was raising you. They gave it time to work. They didn't want it overnight. It wasn't okay, well, we gonna get this 3 days to see if he adjusts. They gave it time. And then if they didn't see any adjustments in your behavior or the way you dealt with your classmates or you acting out of school, now they'll call you home. Or, okay, that didn't work. Now they'll do a home visit. Like, we gonna go, like, to really see what's going on. Like, look, Miss So-and-so, Mr. So-and-so, like your son not listening or your daughter not listening. They being disruptive. We done sent home a note, okay? We see that we ain't see no adjustment. We call. We ain't see no adjustment. Now we gonna come to the home and see what's going on. So parents respected parents. People that was in place, the guidance counselor, the dean, the principal, the teacher, they respected the parents. Other parents respected the parents. They gave you time to be a parent. They gave you space to be a parent. They didn't just assume that you didn't know what you was doing. They didn't just assume because maybe your kids was acting up or your kids was being rude or was being disrespectful. That don't mean that your kids are disrespectful or are rude. They could have had a bad day. They could have just been acting out that particular day, that particular time. That don't mean that this is who they are. So now they also gave it time to see and to look at if this was a pattern of behavior. And like I said, not just a bad day. Because this happened in life with adults. We had bad days. But that don't mean because you had a bad day that your life is bad. You could have a bad day. And it can happen with children. It can happen with your child or with your children. But that don't mean you don't know how to raise them or you're not being a good parent. Or your kids don't listen or don't follow instructions. It happens at times. Kids don't listen at times. Adults don't listen at times. But that don't mean that another parent is going to disrespect another parent. That don't mean another parent is going to allow their child to be disrespectful or to get disrespectful. That don't mean that. But nowadays, not all, but some parents disrespect parents. Some parents allow their children to be disrespectful, not only to them, but to other parents, to other mothers, to other fathers, to other people's children. When I came up, that was unacceptable. You was held accountable for that. My moms would go back, or my dad would go back and apologize to other people's parents, like, yo, my son was wrong for that, or my daughter was wrong for that. I'll make sure that my son or my daughter never do that. And if you see them doing that, please let me know. Please let me know. It ain't, yo, that's still my son. Don't tell my son nothing. Don't tell my daughter nothing. Wasn't like that. You respected the respect. You grew up respected and acknowledging the fact that you had to respect other people's mothers, other people's fathers, other people's aunts and uncles and grandparents. You grew up respecting the respect. Like, know what? But now I'm saying that's still somebody older than me. That's still somebody's mother. That's still somebody's father. That's still somebody's aunt. That's still somebody's uncle. You know what? How you doing, Miss So-and-so? How you doing, Mr. So-and-so? Like, I couldn't just freely curse around people. I couldn't freely smoke weed around people. I had to do that in secrecy. You know what I mean? I'm cutting school or something. I'm like, oh, yo, that's my mom's friend. Or that's the person from the block. Yo, I can't let them see me. They're going to tell my mother. Out of respect. Knowing it would be consequences and repercussions for that. Knowing that. I can't go to school acting a fool because I know. Yo, they're going to let my moms know. They're going to let my pops know. Or my dad or my aunt or my uncle. Knowing that it was repercussions behind that. And also having respect for the class, knowing that you denying or depriving other classmates from getting their education, from learning, from doing the right thing. That's what I mean by parents have respect for parents, and then parents have respect for the kids, knowing like, nah, but I ain't gonna send my kid to school like that to deny someone else from getting their education, from getting their learn on. It became important for you to pay attention to that, for you to see that. It's like, nah, I can't do that, though. Because at the end of the day, my classmates, other people that go to school, and another way parents respected parents, they didn't send you to school to put on a show. It wasn't a fashion show. It wasn't a disrespect show. It wasn't a look at me show. You went to school to learn. You went to school to gain knowledge. You went to school to get more discipline, to get up in the morning. So you wasn't staying up late watching cartoons, watching music videos, watching sports. You went to bed on time so you can get up on time. Go to school and learn. Go to school to be disciplined. The discipline of the fact that you had to get up, that's discipline. Your mom, your dad, your parents, or your guardian, they had to get you up. And that's, again, parents respecting parents. So even if, okay, fine, you went to see your aunt, your uncle, or you went to see your grandparents, you had to go over there with respect. Because your mom, your dad, they wouldn't let you, or your guardian wouldn't let you go over there and you ain't got no respect. So now, even if you like, okay, you at a family bounce, like, but you're going to go over there with respect. So if it's your aunt, you're going to go over there and see your cousins with respect. Vice versa, they're going to deal with you with respect. You ain't going to go to your aunt's house and show out. Because you know your aunt or your uncle, they're going to let your mom or your dad know, nah, I'm saying they came over here showing out. They came over here with no respect. You're going to go over there the same way you're going to be at home. You're going to be, now, let me wash my hands before I go on my aunt's refrigerator. Let me ask, is it all right if I make me a sandwich? Let me ask, is it all right if I turn the TV on? Parents have respect for parents. It's not just family. Parents have respect for parents. You go around other people now that ain't your family, with your moms or with your dad or with your guardian. You're going to respect your mother's and your father's friends when you're around them in their homes or their houses or their apartments. You're going to respect it. So if you're going outside to play with their kids, you're going to be respectful. You ain't going to disrespect the people that come outside to play with you and your friends. You're going to respect them too. How come? Because you was brought up that way. Your parents respected other people's parents. And not only by doing that, they respected other people's property, other people's cars, other people's homes, other people's residencies. They respected that, not yelling and screaming in the hallway. Seeing other people, seeing them come home from grocery shopping. Y'all need help with the bags? And now you build that rapport, that relationship, because it's respect. And they'd be like, nah, I know you, your moms, y'all stay at such and such and such. You'd be like, yeah, how you doing? And now one day, if you are hungry or if you are out of line, they could be like, nah, you know you're not supposed to be doing that now. Come on now, you got more respect than that. Your mom raised you better than that. Instead of saying, don't tell me nothing, what you mean? Mind your business. You don't know me, you can't tell me nothing. And then if that person was to go back to your parent, now it's an argument. Now it leads to something else, unnecessary violence. They disrespecting each other. So how can the kids know how to respect each other? But when I came up, or before I came up, my mom's generation, my grandma's generation, it was respect. My father's generation, my grandfather's generation, it was respect. You could hold someone accountable, and it's not you holding them accountable because you think you better or you think you know more. It was called respect. That's what it's called. But now, when you want somebody to respect you, or you want other people to respect something, who you think you is? You can't tell me this, you can't tell me that. Or you think you better than somebody. Nah, it's just respect. You need to get back to that self-respect. Because once you respect yourself, other people have to. Because they start to look around. Because now they see you respecting yourself. And now the parents, when they start to respect each other more, the kids look up at that like, nah, but I'm saying, I seen my dad get along with your dad. I ain't on that. I seen my moms get along with your moms. Nah, it ain't about that. If I hurt you, I apologize. I didn't mean to offend you. You know what I mean? I was a little upset, but we all have bad days. My bad. It ain't like that. And the other person be like, yeah, nah, I was having a bad day too. Or, nah, I get this side. It's all good. Ain't nothing. And y'all go on with y'all day. And life keep going. But when everything is an argument, because nobody don't have self-respect no more. Nobody got self-control no more. Nobody got self-discipline no more. And for the people that have it now, people get mad at those people. Oh, you think you're better than me, or you think you're this, or you think you're more intelligent. It's not that. Self-respect. Self-respect. See, a lot of times people think self-respect is the clothes they got on their back, the car they driving, how much money in their account. Self-respect is sometimes humbling up, apologizing, walking away, living to see another day, acknowledging the fact that, you know what, I shouldn't have said that. You know what, I shouldn't have did that. That's self-respect. That's self-awareness. That's self-control. And that's what's missing. That's why I said parents respected parents. And parents respect the children. They say, you know what, nah, this is adult conversation. Y'all kids go in the room. They didn't just open the liquor in front of the kids. They didn't just open the beer in front of the kids. They didn't just smoke in front of the kids. They didn't just drink in front of the kids. They didn't just allow the kids to listen to cursing and see explicit content on the TV or listen to explicit songs, rap lyrics, or R&B lyrics. They like, nah, this ain't, nah, y'all kids shouldn't be listening to this. Y'all go in the room. Y'all ain't of age to be listening to this. Y'all ain't of age to be seeing that on TV. And the kids was excused to go to the next room. And kids got up and did it. They ain't like, damn, Ma, what you mean? Why I can't sit through this? I'm 15 now. I'm this age now. It's like, you ain't grown. You ain't mature enough to deal with this yet. You know what I mean? You ain't mature enough to sit around and smoke. You ain't old enough to be up in here when we drink it. And when we talk about what adults talk about. So adults respected the children as well and let them go to the next room. And that's what's going on. That's how parents respected parents and parents respected the children. So the children had no choice but to respect the parents, but to respect the adults. Because it was like, oh, all right, yeah, now I get it. And some children did know what was going on, but they still respected. They still like, nah, I'm saying, I know my uncle be drinking, but yeah, I got to go in the room. Yeah, I know my aunt do this, but I can't be around that. Yeah, I know my mom do this, but I can't be around that. I know my dad do that, but I can't be around that. And it wasn't personal. It wasn't like you looked at your dad differently or your mom differently or your aunt differently or your uncle differently. It's just like, I can't be around that. I'm not mature enough yet. I'm not old enough yet. I respect it. And that's what's missing. That's what we got to get back to. Parents respecting parents, giving it time to work. It's not going to work overnight. Discipline take time. But if you work on self-discipline, give somebody else time to work on self-discipline. You work on self-respect, give somebody else time to work on it. But, or however, we living in a time when somebody can say, you disrespectful, or you rude, or you arrogant, or you think you this, or you think you that. And then in between time, they ain't looking at themselves. That's why I say on my platform, self-respect, self-control, self-awareness, self-discipline. Because if you could do it for you, you can't worry about how somebody else ain't doing it. Do it for yourself. You keep working on it for you. So as long as you do it, it don't matter what somebody else ain't gonna do. You doing it. And that's what parents did. They gave parents the opportunity to be a parent. And they respected the kids enough to keep them away from certain things. So the kids grow up with self-respect, with self-control, with morals, with values. They be like, nah, I gotta respect that. Even though I might not want to, I got to. And then as you got older, you was able to be exposed to certain things because you was getting older and you was getting more mature. And now your parents or your guardians or your families be like, nah, they they get a little older, they get a little mature, and they'll let you experience a little bit more now. But that's not happening no more. Parents ain't telling kids, go in the room. And if they are, it's not on a large scale. It's not on a large scale where parents like, go in the room. You know, you shouldn't be around this smoking. Shouldn't be around this drinking. Shouldn't be around all this cursing. Shouldn't be around these arguments. I know my mom and my dad had disagreements. It had nothing to do with me. And if it did have something to do with me, I was in another area of the home or the house where I wasn't directly up on it. Now, that's not like that. You got to separate these things. So again, guys, thanks for tapping in. I appreciate everybody's time, effort, and energy. Remember, Cash App New Legend 77. The Cash App New Legend 77. Also, don't forget, guys, memberships are available. Till next time, peace, power, shalom, assalamu alaikum. Peace, bro.